Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Abridged biography of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Mukhtasar Sira Ar-Rasul by Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab At-Tamimi. I am continuing this book. Today we read the story of the elephant. The reason behind the story of the companions of the elephant, according to what has been narrated by Muhammad ibn Ishaq, is that Abraha ibn Asaba, who was the representative of the Negus, king of Abyssinia in Yemen, saw the people preparing during the Hajj season to journey to Mecca. May Allah enable it, and so he built a church in Sana and wrote to Negus, I have built for you a church, and I will not cease until I have divided the pilgrimage of the Arabs to it. A man from the tribe of Banu Kinana heard this, and he entered it at night, and he smeared the Qibla with excrement. Abra said, who had the audacity to do this? It was said to him, a man from among the inhabitants of the house who heard about you said. At this, Abraha saw that he would proceed to the Kaaba and destroy it, and he wrote to the Negus informing him of that and asking him to send him his elephant. He had an elephant named Mahmud, the like of whose power the size and strength had not been seen, and he sent it to him. So Abraha sent out for Mecca, and the Arabs heard of this, and they became extremely worried by it, and considered it was an obligation upon them to fight him. One of the kings of Yemen, who was called Nafar, set out and did battle with him. But Abraha defeated him and took him prisoner, and he said to him, O king, spare me, it will be better for you. So he spared his life and kept him prisoner, for Abraham was a gentleman. So he proceeded until he came near to the land of Khaddam, where Nufail ibn Habib al-Khadami came out to him along with those who were supporting him among the Arab tribes, and they fought against them, and Abra defeated them and captured Nufail, and he said to him, O king, I will be your guide in the land of the Arabs, and the power to make my people listen and obey is in my hands, so spare me, and it will be better for you. So he spared him, and he went with him, guiding him on the journey. When they passed at Taif, Mas'ud bin Mutab came out with some men from Taqif and said to him, O king, we are your slaves, and we shall send with you a person or to guide you. So they sent with him Abu Rigal, who was a slave of theirs. So they continued until they reached Al-Mughammas, where Abu Rigal died, and it was he whose grave was stoned. Then Abra sent a man from Abyssinia, whose name was Al-Aswad bin Mafsud, in charge of an advanced cavalry party, and ordered him to raid the people's livestock, and Al-Aswad collected for him the property of sacred precincts, and he acquired 200 camels belonging to Abdul Muttalib. Then he sent a man from Himyar to the inhabitant of Makkah, and he said to him, inform the leader that I have not come to fight, I have only come to destroy the house. So he went and said this to Abdul Muttalib. Abdul Muttalib replied, we are unable to resist him. We shall remove ourselves from between him and his objective. For this is the house of Allah, and the house of his Khalil Ibrahim alayhi salatu. So if he wishes to prevent him, from destroying it, it is his house, and if he lets him approach it, by Allah, we have no power to prevent him. He said, come with me to the king, and I tell him this. Nafar was a friend of Abdul Muttalib, and he came to him and said, O Dunafar, can you avail us regarding what has befallen us? He said, there is no avail from a captive who is not safe from being killed in the morning or in the evening. But I shall send a word to Unais, the elephant's groom, for he is my friend, and I will ask him to impress your importance on the king. So he went to Abraha, and he said to him, "This is the leader of Quraysh, asking permission to see you, and he has come without enmity to you and without intending to disobey your commands. So I would like for you to grant him permission." Abdul Talib was a man of powerful physique and a handsome appearance, and when Abraha saw him, he was respected him. He was respected him and treated him with deference, and disliked that he should sit with him. I disliked that he should sit with him on his couch, or that he should sit below him. So he descended to the carpet and called him and sat him down beside him. Then Abdul Talib requested that he returned to him the 200 camels which he had seized from his property. Abraha said to his translator, "Say to him, I was impressed by you when I saw you, but now I will have nothing to do with you." He said, "Why? I have come to the house which is the center of your religion and the religion of your forefathers, the source of your nobility, and it is in your custodianship, in order to destroy it, and you have not spoken to me about it, but you are speaking to me about 200 camels." He replied, "I am the owner of the camels and the house as an owner who will guard it from you." Abraha said, "Nothing can protect it from me." He answered, "That remains to be seen." So the king ordered his camels to be brought, and they were returned to him. Then he left and informed Quraysh of the news, and ordered them to disperse to the mountain trails and to take over in the mountain tops, fearful that they will be humiliated or harassed by the enemy. This they did, and Abdul Muttalib went to the house and removed the king from its door and said, "O Lord, I do not hope for help against them except from you. O Lord, so prevent them by your protection. Verily the enemies of the house are those who oppose you, so prevent them from destroying your city." He also said, "O Allah, surely a man defends his own property. They who protect your own property, their cross and their strength can never overcome your strength. They have brought their host and their whole land and the elephant in order to capture the inhabitant of your house. If you leave them and your Kaaba, it's up to you." Then he turned towards the direction of the mountains with his people, while Abraha had arrived at Al-Mughammas and was preparing to enter Mecca along with his troops and his elephant. Nufail approached the elephant and took its ear and said, "Kneel down, Mahmud, for you are in Allah's sacred city." So the elephant knelt down. They tried to make him go forward, but he refused. Then they faced him towards Yemen, and he stood and hastened forward, and they turned him towards Asham, and he did likewise. Then they turned him towards the east, and he did likewise. Then they turned him towards the sacred house, and he knelt down. Nufail left and hastened until he had climbed the mountain. Then Allah sent birds from the direction of the sea, and each of them was carrying 3 stones, 2 in its claws and 1 in its beak. When they had covered the people, they dropped them, and none was hit by those stones except that it was killed. But not all of them were hit. The remainder fled, calling for Nufail to lead them to the road to Yemen. They flowed over each other, falling in every direction and dying at every watering hole. And Allah sent an illness to Abraha, which affected his body, causing his fingers to fall off until he reached Sana'a, by which time he was like a plucked bird, and he did not die until his chest had split open to reveal his heart. Then he died.